financial markets, cryptocurrency, gold and silver, world news.
Fair to say you simply flooded the system with money.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally, and we do that by buying treasury bills. That actually increases the money supply.
Financial Turmoil Explained.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Wednesday, the 25th of May, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, I'm going to tell you, could there be a Shtf disaster? Shtf disaster. Well, I'm going to tell you what, guys. Let's get this chart started right here and take a look at what's going on. The first thing I want to take a look at is this article from the United States says the United States is facing a sizzling summer. I believe this is true. These new things are forming, this new weather phenomenon called a heat dome. I'm not going to call it a new weather phenomenon. We used to call it a heat wave, but now the intensity of these is becoming off the scale hot. Especially on the East Coast and places where they get not a dry heat. Like, I get people on my channel who say, hey, out here in Arizona or whatever, we get 115 degrees every summer. It's no big deal. There's a dry heat. And heck, you can take a fan. You can even run it off a car battery. You can throw a wet towel over the front of the fan in that dry heat, and it becomes a bug type air conditioner, or what they call a swamp cooler. But it's totally different. See, your body can cool itself with dry heat through a process called evaporation. That's how your body cools itself. So 115 degrees in a dry heat, especially if you got air conditioning inside or a bug cooler of some sort, it's survivable. It's not that extreme. But when you get a high humidity, along with 115 or 110 degrees, what happens is your body can't get rid of the heat. Your body can't cool down. Your body runs at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And when you get a wet heat that's got a high humidex, or high amount of humidity in the air, your body can't cool itself. And because the temperature outside is higher than your body's core temperature, your body starts to overheat. And you can die very quickly. Your body cannot go over 107 degrees. You will expire. I don't care how young or how strong you are, your body cannot go over that. And the temperature outside gets higher than that, and it's a high humidity, high humidex. You can't take that. So we got these heat waves. Another thing is, in Texas, we getting these tornadoes now, and they're unbelievable. And the intensity and the width of the funnel is like, got a couple. I mean, all around the world we're getting these. In France, hail pouring from the sky, hailstones the size of your fist, breaking through car windows and everything else. They're in shock. The world's, if you haven't noticed, the whole world's weather has been just going crazy. Absolutely crazy. In one place after Toronto, around Ontario, they got this tremendous storm the other day. People didn't see it coming. It comes so fast, people were running for it. People died in it. They're still cleaning up the mess. It's striking. The weather is striking one place after another. Now, they're talking about this summer coming here in the United States. And when do you think they're really going to have their power outages? It says the East is already facing possible heat wave this weekend. Already. It's early in the season. Large swaths of the country are at risk of blackouts this summer as climbing temperatures cause surging demands for electricity. Yeah, that's when it's going to come. That's when the power's going to go out on you. And when the temperatures are surging over 100 degrees. And, you know, I'm going to tell you guys, if it's a wet heat, like I was talking about, if it's damp and humid at the same time, your body can't cool itself. Maybe it's time to think about getting yourself a little generator and a little, like I said before, a little generator and a little small window air conditioner. I mean, just some way of cooling down. Uh, you know, and have extra water in your house, you know, and be prepared for these things. But overall, can this cause a shift? In places it could. If you get a widespread power outage that lasts for too long a period of time, that area that's down, grid down, could have civil unrest break out in that area, and after, even if you turn the power back on, I mean, it could be a situation. It could cause a situation. It'd probably have to be out for a week or two to start to cause a situation where the people actually start to lose it, and it can happen depending on how long that they leave these power outages on for, and I just don't know. But that's just one thing we're facing. We're facing food shortages coming. Not that far away either. And so could a shift happen? Yeah, it can. Because we're in a vulnerable society. We've made ourselves vulnerable. We didn't have a vulnerable society 100 years ago. We've went all over, and I've talked many times in length in this program about how we've went in too fast into this new computerized society that we have now. Too dependent on everything. Too many interdependencies. Everything's dependent on something else. See, we can't exchange money even if now unless the internet's up and running. I mean, what kind of world is that with the internet so vulnerable? Those undersea cables coming across, you know? Anything could happen. A shark could bite one of them in half, for crying out loud, and half the grid could go down in the United States. I mean, you know, but I'm not thinking about sharks. I'm thinking about the two-legged version of a threat toward these internet cables. Not so much fish. You know, I'm thinking about something else that could cut these undersea cables, and that's a vulnerability that we have that's tremendous. You know, they talk about cyber attacks and things like that. We're talking about EMPs, you know, even that could come from the sun. We are vulnerable now, tremendously vulnerable. And everybody has to get their food from the grocery store. And we've come to rely upon that over a period of time because it's always there. What if it's not there? What are you going to do? It's time to prepare, guys. Okay, let's take a look at the silver price today. 21.84. It's down 25 cents today. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is down $17.20. The markets now are unstable. All the Fed's doing right now is destroying the economy by trying to fight inflation. And I'm going to tell you guys what. They might be closer than you think to giving up and going back to printing money again. Well, they don't print it anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. They might be closer to giving up than you could ever imagine, even though their talk is big time. Well, they have to keep that talk big time, like they're going to keep raising rates and they're going to do quantitative tightening and we're going to fight inflation. They have to keep that talk there like that. Because if they didn't, you can just imagine what would happen with inflation would even go higher. And, you know, a lot of what they've done so far is just talk. How close are they getting to turning around? Well, I've predicted it already. I think it's going to be a market below 26,000 on the Dow. But, you know, I might be giving them a lot of credit for being tough, guys. When really the market might not fall that much further. They could give in at any point between here and there. I'm just saying, hey, you know, I'm thinking that they'll hang in there a bit longer. But who knows? I mean, don't count on it. They could turn any time now because they've told you they're data dependent. Anyway, let's get on to cryptocurrency here. 1267 cryptos, 29,745. So Bitcoin is hanging in there pretty good, really, considering, Dow Jones Industrial Average today it's up 13 points, but that's nothing. But this is a sick market. It's up 47 right now. This is a very sick market. You take a look at the last month, you can just see you got these little pops in the market, and the market goes up and everybody sells the rally. Well, right now we're in another one of these sell the rally things, because the market's popped up just a little bit. Take a look at 3 months. You can kind of see this thing. Every time it pops up, they sell the rally, and they've done that 3 times now, and now they might be getting ready to do it the 4th time, This is not going to really turn around good until the Fed capitulates. Let's take a look now at crude oil, and $110.36, way too high. I'm going to take a look at the MOVE index today, 111.15. And the MOVE index has been sliding a little bit. Going to take a look now at bonds and rates. Seeing a mixed bag today on the yield curve. 10 years at 2.76 and the U.S. 30 years 2.98. And finishing off, the dollar index is at 102.29 and rising a little bit. Listen, guys, as far as a shift is concerned, shift disaster, over the past 2 years, we've been on a slow movement toward a shift. And it's actually almost been like a shift, but a very slow moving train. Like, it's been moving in that direction very, very slowly. And it's continuing. And it's just like, there's always something happening, coming at you every day. I can't even keep up with it in the news practically. There's so much. With the war going on over in Ukraine, food shortages, power outages, weather phenomenon. You should have saw those 2 tornadoes in Texas. Oh my gosh. The base of the thing was like a mile wide, for crying out loud. When do we get tornadoes like that? I mean, they used to talk about a tornado like that, back, I remember 4 or 5 years ago, they were talking about what was the greatest size tornado ever in history, and they'd say like a half a mile wide tornado, and it was like an event that would occur once every 20 years or something, just one. Now we get them every day. They're an everyday occurrence. Can you imagine a mile wide funnel coming at you? Where do you even run and hide? I mean, you have to go underground, for crying out loud. It's going to strip everything bare. Luckily, they go through not so heavily densely populated areas oftentimes. Sooner or later, one of them's going to go right through a densely populated city if they keep coming. And, I mean, what about hurricanes? The hurricane season is just beginning this year. The world is in a terrible, terrible state. Fires break out, and the next thing you know, you get a flood. So 1 week you're fighting fires with a hot burning sun, and a week later, everything's underwater. I mean, it's just, you're fighting through one thing after another thing coming at you. And it didn't used to be this way back before the year 2020. Yeah, we had events like that happen back before 2020, but they were fewer in frequency. They weren't every day. They were like once a month, maybe the world would experience some weird event, Now it's like every single day, or 2 times a day, 3 times a day. There's something going on, And you just get over one, and another one's coming to impact you. Some communities have escaped. But there's a lot of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, because you've been through something or another's happened in your community or close to you. And now that they're happening with more frequency, these events are going to start to occur. Everybody is going to start to experience them. Maybe I should call it a run and hide event, where you feel like running home and hiding yourself under the bed. Maybe that's a safe thing to do. I just don't know. I mean, okay, listen, guys. Thank you guys for listening to my show. like, and subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the very next episode. Bye-bye.